All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Dipesh Deshmukh, and I am representing IBG. IBG is India Business Group. We are a chamber of commerce over 7-8 years now. The whole purpose of IBG is to help our members getting business, generating business, getting connects. We are also going international. We are tying up with a lot of international trade chambers and chamber of commerces. So we'll be able to help our members to get international business as well now. So it's founded by none other than our dear friend, dear mentor, Mr. Vikash Mittarsen. Vikash, can you please say hi to everyone?
Okay. Hi, everybody. You can hear me? I thought he's unmuted me.
I have unmuted you.
All right. I'm so happy to see so many of my friends around here. And those who are not yet friends will become soon, I'm sure.
All right, Vikash. Thank you so much. So Vikash is also the CMD of Nazara Technologies. They are in mobile gaming. And Vikash has an open door policy. He welcomes anyone and everyone. You just take an appointment. If he's available, he will see you. He'll guide you, mentor you with his ideas. So thank you, Vikash, for everything that you do for us. We also have our CEO, Ms. Priya Pansare. Priya, can you just say hi to everyone?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Morning, Dharmendra. Welcome to IBG's platform. And to all the people who are new over here, I would like to make an announcement that IBG is going with sector meetings now, sector-specific meetings. So you will soon, very soon, you will start getting notifications on these very specific meetings. And next week onwards, we will start doing those B2B sessions, virtual chats over here. So quite looking forward to it, and welcome again. And Mr. Rai, over to you.
Thank you so much, Priya. I would like to introduce our speaker, today's speaker. He's a phenomenal guy, Mr. Dharmendra Rai. Oh, that rhymed actually. So he has pages and pages worth of introduction, but I'm going to keep it very brief. Some very few things that are very important that I found I will share with you all. He's Mumbai's first mind map trainer. And he's into brain literacy. So he's a brain literacy pioneer. He's got over 25 years of experience in training and sales and marketing. He has done seminars for executives of many Fortune 500 companies and other companies as well. He's appeared on prominent media like Forbes, Times of India, CNBC, Hindustan Times, and the list goes on. He has also won the Kotler Award in 2020. The earlier award, one of the awardees was Prime Minister Modi. So that's absolutely, distinguished. He's also an author. He has already authored one book. He's written one more, I guess, 2 books, yeah. And so on. So there is a huge list of accomplishments. We will put a link of his website below, and you'll be able to see everything that he has done. So thank you so much, Dharmendra, for taking time out and coming for this webinar. I welcome you. Please say a few words before we start the session.
Sure. Thank you very much. Welcome to all the participants. Thank you to you. Thank you to Vikash, Priya, Siddhi, and the entire team of IBG for making this possible. This is the world's first seminar on invisible selling. And invisible selling, as everybody will discover, is an absolutely critical survival skill. It's as critical as breathing. It's as critical as oxygen and argon and nitrogen. So whoever is attending, we are very happy that they're attending. People who are not attending, we are happy because we appreciate the lack of competition.
All right, Dharmendra, that was good. So an obvious question that comes to mind when we hear the topic is, what is invisible selling, and who is it for?
Okay. Just imagine you are the chief executive of Coke, right? Coca-Cola. And I am the marketing head. And I come and tell you that or you want to launch a new company, a new cold drink, because you want to generate more revenues for the company. You have Coke and you have other drinks, they're doing well, and some of them are not doing well. That's fine. You're looking at an entirely new drink. And there are a few more colleagues, let's say 5 or 6 people in the meeting. As a chief executive, you said we want to make a drink and we want to make profits out of that, a new drink. What do you think is the most obvious thing that people will discuss? You're not supposed to get the answer correctly. If you get the answer correctly, then the seminar is useless. So just go ahead and guess.
Guys, you all can type your whatever you want in the chat box.
No, you go ahead.
Sorry, come again?
You're the chief executive.
Ah.
And you said, we want an idea for a new drink. What do you think will be the most obvious idea? Just 1 or 2 ideas, or maybe just one idea. What do you think it will be from those 3 or 4 people in the group, including the chief of marketing?
So the obvious thing will be, which already exists, is make Coke Zero, which is my favorite drink. I always sit with it.
Okay.
Zero sugar, 0 calorie. That's what, people are in for healthy stuff. So that's what I will ask them to focus on.
Okay. So would you put that under the category of better drink?
Better
Would that be right?
Healthy. See, I've seen one thing. Whatever is healthy is never tasty. I mean, it can be tasty.
Okay.
But something that unhealthy is more yummier, right?
Right. Okay. So in a way, it could be put in the better category because you're saying it's better because it's healthier.
Healthier.
Can it be thought of that way?
Yes.
So these are the conventional things that people will discuss. They're looking at a drink and they're saying, okay, this is the drink. Let's make something healthier. Let's make something better. Let's make something tastier. Let's make something cheaper.
We got one idea from Leena Mehta. She says, make immunity drink.
Yeah. Okay. That's the flavor of the season.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people say if Coke you spray on insects die, it can be used. So Coke is anyway immunity drink, right? All the insects die in the tummy.
True. Okay. So what if I'm the head of marketing and I say, I have an idea for a drink that tastes like urine.
Tastes like?
Urine.
Okay.
And it's going to be priced higher than Coke.
Okay.
What's the immediate reaction in your mind? You may share the reaction or you may not share the reaction with your team. For the purpose of this webinar, we want you to amplify your thoughts. What will be your thinking about me as an employee?
Are you out of your mind?
Absolutely. तभी मीटिंग खत्म होने दे उसके बाद पिंक स्लिप भेजेंगे एचआर को फोन करो
मैं तो बोलूंगा अभी लेके जा मीटिंग के लिए वेट पता नहीं और क्या आइडिया आएगा
Okay, now the point is there was a drink which tasted like urine, told by people who sampled it during the market research, and it was more expensive than Coke. And that drink is a multi-million-dollar brand today. It's called Red Bull.
So the problem, I've never tasted urine, so I really don't know if Red Bull is same taste, la. And somebody said it tasted like urine. God knows what they were drinking before Red Bull then.
So he probably hasn't tasted urine. He's just using a metaphor for something horrible. And the actual response in the market research was, I would pay money not to have this drink.
Correct.
Okay, so that is an example of how counterintuitive success really is. The human brain does not think rationally. What led to the success of Red Bull was probably because it was either the first energy drink in the world or people perceived it to be the first energy drink in the world. And that's it. After that, the price did not matter and the taste did not matter. So the conventional brainstorming that happens, the linear thinking, the typical thinking, okay, let's make something better, cheaper, smaller, distributed better. Those things are great. That linear thinking is great, but that's not very difficult to do. But then you need to go beyond that to understand how people actually take decisions. And they do not take decisions in a rational way. So if you are serving a buffet, so this is the second example. If you're serving a buffet and you want people, if you're serving a buffet, you want people to eat less, right? because otherwise you're not going to make profits. If you serve food in small plates,
Small, heavy plates
and small plates. This is I have the research behind this. I can share the source with you later. People literally eat less. If you give them big plates, they literally eat more. So if you're doing a la carte, then you want to give them big plates. But most restaurant owners, you go to any restaurant owner and tell him this, he'll laugh at you. They say, oh, is it so easy to influence people? Or it's just not logical, right? Yeah, but the point is plenty of people in the world are not logical. And just one last example. When people receive their bill at a restaurant, if that bill has the logos of credit cards, people literally give higher tips.
Wow.
Now, this is totally counterintuitive. Unless you're going to do a deep analysis of how the human brain works or get that information from someone else, you don't stand a chance against somebody who is doing that. So your competitor knows about invisible selling, or I've derived invisible selling from various subjects, but behavioral economics is one of them. And behavioral economics is about how people actually take decisions. And traditional economics is how people should take decisions. Right? So just one small thing on traditional economics. Plenty of people have studied traditional economics in school, and most of them have slept through it because it's terribly boring. But there were plenty of assumptions made in traditional economics. One major assumption was that it's an efficient market. Okay, the efficient market definition means that all consumers know the price and quality of all the goods in the market. Now, I don't think I've come across a single human being in the world who knows this for any industry, because how can you know all? It's virtually impossible. So traditional economics assumes that if you were going to a supermarket and you wanted to buy a bar of soap, that you would first go to the place which sells soaps and you would jot down all the soap brands that are available and all the sizes and all the flavors, and then put it in an Excel sheet and then find what is the value per rupee that I'm getting in each soap. And then decide, okay, now this is the best soap that I want to buy. Now, in my entire life, I have not seen a single person ever do this kind of calculation. But that's what traditional economics just assumes. So invisible selling is derived from behavioral economics and plenty of other disciplines like social psychology, basic psychology, cognitive psychology, neuroscience. And it's about how people actually think. So when you know how people actually think, then you can sell to them, you can influence them. You're in a much more powerful position to get whatever you want out of them than if you don't.
All right. That's a very interesting concept, and we are very curious to know more about it. And I know that you're going to give away some strategies, tips, tricks about invisible selling. But before that, I have a question for you. Do you have any suggestions for our audience as to how they can make most out of this webinar?
Yeah.
Whatever we are going to speak next.
Yeah, I think there are two things. If people do it religiously, they will really get a lot of juice out of this seminar. Because otherwise, plenty of people read a lot of books, they attend a lot of seminars, and research says that within 24 hours, 80% is forgotten. So if you're sending your child abroad and spending 4 crores, then 3.2 crores is just gone, right? So there are two things. One is if people can have a pen and paper next to them, there'll be some quizzes, and obviously we are time bound. So I'm just going to ask you a question. suggest they write down something in the next 5 seconds. We can't give them more time than that because this is a webinar.
Okay.
Number one. And number two is the biggest problem with thinking in the world today is people are thinking about too many things at one time. They're thinking, okay, what is this concept about? They're trying to memorize the concept. They're trying to think of applications of the concept. They're being skeptical about the concept. They're thinking about how that concept may have been applied in their life in the past. So that's why plenty of people mess up thinking very badly and their productivity suffers. So I am suggesting that they focus only on two things in sequence. One is just try to understand the concept. Don't try to do anything else. If you think, okay, I've understood the concept now, then just try to think how to implement the concept in your life. That's it. Don't think of anything else. Don't think of, say, skepticism. Because everything is counterintuitive. All the examples that we've given, people would have been very skeptical, but I have lots of data to prove that that's actually happened. So if you're skeptical, it is very good to be skeptical. Skepticism is very important for business and for science, but that has its place. After this webinar is over, they can go to Google, they can do all the research they want and feed their skepticism. But at this time, if they're trying to understand and be skeptical at the same time and think of a million other things, it's just a waste of time. So it's just these two things. Please take the quizzes seriously, because then you got to be convinced, oh my gosh, I was actually thinking this and the answer is this. So now your brain is going to wonder, how was there a gap? So you're going to pay more attention. So pen and paper and just focus on understanding the concept.
All right, that's a good one. In fact, I must tell you, I know your speaking style and I know you talk about concepts, but then you give examples as well, which is amazing. So, and the difference between an Indian MBA where they teach only theory, whereas I have done my MBA in the US and they talk about case studies and examples. So I remember all those case studies because they were all real, stories and examples. I don't remember the concepts, but I know what happened with McDonald's and Coke and all that. So I love the way you deliver your content. So I'm sure people will love it too.
Thank you.
All right. So now the final question to you is, can you briefly share some strategies with us for invisible selling? Because the concept is absolutely mind-boggling, but please tell us how we can use it literally so that we can all profit.
Sure. So I want to start with the first one, which some of them may listen to the name of the strategy and just disconnect from the webinar, because it is the concept of free. Right, now some people may think, oh, I'm listening to a webinar on the concept of free. I know about free. Since I'm a child, since I was 5 years old, my grandmother used to take me to a kirana shop and I used to see Kisan sauce, 100 grams free. Or I used to get a Surf Excel sachet. Somebody used to come door to door from Hindustan Lever and say, here, this sachet is free for you. So I know what free is all about. I use it in my business. I know it's very powerful. What's the big deal? The fact is that it is a very big deal. Plenty of people don't know how powerful it is. Maybe once they know, they will use it more. They don't know about certain precautions they got to take when using the free strategy. If they don't take those precautions, then they can literally lose their entire business. And plenty of businesses have literally gone bankrupt because they haven't understood how to use the free strategy properly. It's like a process. It's like a standard operating procedure. It's like a surgery. You move your scalpel 1 millimeter to the right and you cut a different artery, your patient is dead. So free is like one of those weapons where if you're going to be slightly careless in using this strategy, you will to the ground. Okay, so here's the quiz. I'm only going to give people about 5 seconds to answer the quiz. This was actually done. So people have gone to a certain area where there are two tables and there's a board that you can pick only one chocolate. On one side, there is a brand called Hershey's. Okay, so Hershey's is in India, but it's not as widespread as Cadbury's. So you can think of Hershey's as Cadbury's of the US. Cadbury's is a great brand. It's very popular. Plenty of people love it. At the same time, it is a non-premium brand. We call it a Janta brand. Chocolate for as low as 5 rupees also in plenty of shops. Maybe you'll get smaller portions for as low as 1 rupee. So great brand, but a non-premium brand. So you have the option of buying a Hershey's chocolate for 1 cent. On the other table, you have Lind chocolates. Lind chocolates is like the Mercedes-Benz of chocolates. The chocolates are perceived to be superior, milky, the texture is greater, the ingredients are more exotic.
People are drooling. Their laptop keyboard will stop working now.
Okay, so the price of that is 15 times higher. It's 15 cents. Okay, so in the next 5 seconds, I am suggesting everybody write down what percentage of people bought Hershey's at 1 cent and what percentage of people bought Lind at 15 cents, because you can buy only one. You can't buy both. So one, tick, tick, one, Antakshari style. Okay, I presume 5 seconds are over. Okay, now before giving this answer, I want to ask the second question. Imagine that the prices on both sides are reduced by 1 cent. Okay, this detailed explanation is given in a book called Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely, who's probably the most lucid behavioral economics speaker in the world. Okay, so previously it was 1 cent here and 15 cents here. Now you reduce both by 1 cent, which means you're getting Hershey's for 0 and you're getting Lind for 14 cents. Now, before you write the answer down, I'm just suggesting whatever your previous answer was, just think about that before putting this here. Okay, I presume the 5 seconds is up. In the first case, 70%, 70% of the people, surprise, went in for the more expensive option. They bought Lind at 15 cents and only 30% bought Hershey's at 1 cent. Okay, so now in case some people want to change the answers to the second question, based on this new information that's given to them, they can do that. Maybe one idea that they've got is that this is not a freeloader crowd. It's not a crowd that doesn't have the money to spend. They have the money to spend on a superior chocolate. Maybe they feel that the cost is worth paying 15 times more, and anyway, it's only 15 cents. So most people, the logical answer would be that this percentage would remain unchanged if Hershey's is available for and Lind is available for. Because anyway, you are paying 14 cents more for Lind, right? It's not that you are attracted by the low cost. 1 cent is as good as free anyway. So why should the numbers change? Logically, rationally. But most people in the world are not rational most of the time. They are not just irrational, but they are predictably irrational. And hence the numbers just reversed. So 70% of the people now went in for the free option. And only 30% went in for the 15 cent option. So it's totally unbelievable, right? You are willing to pay 14 cents more, and now what happened? Just because this became free, you shifted your loyalties? It's completely irrational. There are, and this is my personal example, there are people, senior people from Fortune 500 companies or large companies who wanted a free seat in my seminar. And I said, I can't give you a free seat in my seminar, but you can get a free seat in a seminar that you organize for your company. They actually organized a seminar where I was paid quite handsomely, just because he's getting his one seat for free. And you would never expect a senior executive to be such a penny pincher. But the minute people see something free, they just lose their rationality. It's like they've suddenly become 8-year-olds. So it is incredibly, incredibly powerful. And plenty of people don't realize that power. Plenty of people are not using free to the extent that they should to attract people to their business. So that's the free concept. And some people may be wondering, okay, what's the scientific basis for this? This is just this anecdotal. We just do a few experiments. It's based on how human beings behaved when they were cavemen. When we were cavemen, we hated the concept of losses, right? I mean, just imagine the two cavemen living in a cave and they hunt down an elephant. Now they can't eat the entire elephant in one day. The elephant is probably enough to feed 50 people. But they are not happy with the extra amount of meat because they can't do anything about it. It's just going to go waste, right? There was no refrigeration facility available. So the concept of surplus meant nothing when we were cavemen because we couldn't store the surplus. Money was not invented. Anything else was perishable. So a surplus meant nothing when we were cavemen, but a loss meant almost sure death. You don't get food and you're going to become weak and sick. If you become weak or sick, either you're going to die because of some illness, or you're going to die because a predator kills you, or you're going to die because it's going to start raining and you're going to get worse. So the concept of losses was very deeply ingrained in cavemen, and from generation to generation, it's been passed on. Hence, people suffer from something called loss aversion, an irrational fear of losses. People don't want to lose. They're much more eager to not lose money than they are to make money. Profit is not very exciting. Minimizing losses is more exciting. So when you offer something for free, they perceive that there's no loss because it's free. And that is the evolutionary psychological reason why free is so attractive. So you have to use free in a very smart way because it's very, very powerful. So before we take questions, I just want to talk about some precautions that you got to take when you offer something for free. One is never offer your core product for free. So if you are, let's say, one of the best softwares I've used is Evernote. Evernote gives you a free software only up to a certain extent, only up to a certain GB. There will be other softwares which will be given to you for a certain number of days. So when you're offering something free, be very careful about the limitations of that free offering. If you don't, then people will presume that your core product is being offered for free. So this webinar is being offered for free, but the webinar is not my core product. My core product is offline training, and if it's online training, it's a different format. So the core product is not being given for free. Because if you give your core product for free, people will expect it to be free all the time. And especially in services, people are going to try to bargain from you, and they'll tell you that they just want to test you out. So if you're a recruiter, they'll say, okay, I want to recruit 500 people. Why don't you recruit the first 10 for me for free? Now, if you did that for free, then your conditioning is brain to expect your core product for free. So when you recruit the 11th person for him, maybe he won't request it for free, but he will request it at a steep discount because he's now moving his pricing from zero to paying you something. So if he's moving from zero to paying you something, he rather pay you less than pay you more, because you've helped him to anchor your price at zero. So give lots of products for free, but don't give your core product away for free ever. Because in the future, clients would not be willing to pay for it, or they would not be willing to pay a high price for it. And just one more precaution before we throw it open for 2 questions. When you're giving something for free, mention the price of that product. Okay, so there was a bracelet being given for free with an alcohol bottle. Okay, this is again the product of very credible research. So there was a group which was told about the offer. A large group of 100 people were shown the alcohol bottle and they were shown the bracelet. And they said, this alcohol bottle costs so and so, and this bracelet was given free with every purchase of the alcohol bottle. What do you expect the price of this bracelet to be? So jot down your answers, and the average was calculated. Then they went to another group of 100 people. They showed them only the bracelet. They did not show them the alcohol bottle. They did not tell them that this bracelet was offered as a free deal along with that alcohol. So you look at the bracelet, you look at its beauty, you look at its glitter, you look at its size, and why don't you give us an estimate of how much you think it's worth? And an average was taken. Now, this group, which saw only the bracelet, priced the bracelet at 35% higher than the group which saw the bracelet as a free offering along with the alcohol bottle. So whenever you're offering something for free, there could be a perception among your prospect that, oh, this is just useless inventory probably. If you're offering a free dress with, or let's say offering a free perfume with a dress, or a free dress with another dress, then people may think, oh, this is out of fashion, or this is a stale perfume bottle. It's not been selling for a long time. It's gathering dust. This guy is just clearing his shelves. So when you're offering something for free, mention the price of that item. So these are precautions which appear to be very, very basic, but you make a slight mistake here, you make any loose wordings and people perceive, oh, you're giving a core product for free, you literally destroyed that prospect. So I'll be happy if you have any questions or you want to take 2 questions.
Guys,
we
what
could do
we
that.
do is, so before we move to the next strategy, we can take 2 questions on the current strategy that he mentioned, free. So kindly, any questions you all have, please type in the chat box and I'll ask him. There are a lot of comments that people have made that in hotels, they offer a lot of complimentary things.
Yeah, so if a hotel is offering a room for free,
oh, that's
then
yeah.
Next time you're going to bargain very hard, or you'll say, बस एक बार दिया था ना, मैं बड़ी कंपनी से हूँ, बाद में आपको 100 bookings देंगे, एक और free दे दो.
Yeah.
Anybody who's working in the hotel industry will be able to confirm it right now.
So somebody has asked, Dr. Renuka, she asked, what free statement would catch your attention?
any free statement. It's not from the client. It's not from the client's point of view. It's from your point of view.
Correct.
The client is very happy to see something for free, but you have to be careful as to what you're giving for free. So first of all, yeah, if you're mentioning it in the subject, you can make it capitals. You'll see wherever free is given. In most cases, the term free will be in capitals.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, do that. And if let's say you're sending an email, you say, I'm going to send out an email which will say, free, read my second book on invisible self. So that's going to be the subject. And with such emails, I get a huge amount of click-throughs. So that a book is not my core product because I'm a trainer, not an author. So I can fool around with a book. So you can put free in capitals and mention what you're offering. And obviously, you should feel that that thing is attractive for the person who's going to receive it. So if people are following me, then obviously they would be happy to get a free book from me.
Yeah. So the next question is, does the product offered free has to be related to the marketed product? I don't think so, right?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
As long as it has value, you can offer a hamburger also. It doesn't matter. As long as that thing has value. It's so crazy. There was an offer for a free pager with a fixed deposit. Okay. How do you connect the
sometimes it gives wristwatches with FDs and all, or opening of accounts. So
yeah. So you know you can calculate the time value of money. No, so people
can be anything, right?
So this was in the 90s when fixed deposits were all the rage and pagers had just been launched.
Yeah.
And some guy said, "Oh, we're offering a pager free." So I was working with a company called Karvi Consultants, and some guy walks in and he says, "Pager milega kya? Pager milega kya?" I said, "We're not giving it. We don't believe in such schemes. We are offering you certain other values." Now, after some time, he came back. I said, "What happened?" He said, "Oh, pager sirf free, hardware free, service ke liye pay karna padta hai."
To kya?
So people become so foolish when they see something for free. They should think, right? How can somebody offer a pager for free with a fixed deposit of, let's say, 5,000 rupees? It's just unthinkable, right? That guy will go bankrupt. So this is a good example because it highlights what I said at the beginning, that free literally makes a person foolish for some time. And as long as he feels value, that answers this question. A page is as unrelated from a fixed deposit you can think of. But yeah, people who earn 50 lakhs a year, 1 crore a year will come to your office. They'll spend 1,000 rupees on traveling and come to your office to ask you, "What's pager do mujhe?" Totally irrational.
True.
So if you want to take one more question, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll leave it to you.
One more question that I feel we should take.
Okay.
So the question is, what about geo format for 3 months free data and voice?
Yeah. So I think that's
It just
totally against the free strategy that I'm recommending. And it's going to be a very, very long battle for Jio to really start charging because of the free anchoring. Because of the free anchoring, there will be a lot of demand for the future services also to be free or at a very low price. Now, at that price, Reliance Jio, which has, according to a report on The Economist, invested something like 300,000 lakh crores. I don't know how they're going to recover the money. So if you're Reliance, maybe you want to take that gamble. But if you're not Reliance, then I would strongly suggest you do not offer your core product for free.
And I believe what they did was 3 months, the moment they're like khoon chakana, they're making you taste the blood, and eventually they know that in the next few years they'll recover those 3 months. So That's one more
Yeah,
strategy.
so-
I'm sure a lot of telecom companies follow.
Yeah, but it's a very, very risky strategy because if you're thinking of hiking your price, even if your competitor is offering 5% low price, 10% low price, they would have stuck with you otherwise. But now they'll say, "Pehle free bola tha na, theek hai, abhi main even for 5% I'm going to switch."
Correct.
So maybe Reliance can afford to
Reliance can
wait
afford,
for 25 years to make a profit. Most people in the world cannot wait for 25 years to make a profit.
Cool, cool. So let's move to the next strategy.
So I want to start the next strategy again with a quiz. Let's assume you have done your client a favor. Your client desperately needed some product or he needed some information. That product normally has a turnaround time of 30 days. You have managed to give it to him in 10 days because you've worked overnight, your entire staff has not slept for a week, and you've done a big favor to him. Or somebody has called you at 3 o'clock at night and he's stuck and he wants some solution from you, and you managed to give it to him at 3 o'clock at night. You've disturbed your sleep and you've disturbed your next day. Just imagine that situation. The client is very, very happy with you. He's thrilled. You're like a lifesaver for him. And he says, "Thank you." Okay, so within 5 seconds, please jot down what will be your response. Okay, so why don't you tell me your response just to make it lively?
Hmm.
What would you say if this happened to you? You're in the very serious business of arranging immigration. So one document missing, फिर भी काम कर दिया आपने. मेरा पूरा परिवार आपका बहुत एहसानमंद है.
So almost everyone says that to me, yeah. Nobody has all the documents that are required, right?
So then you're going to benefit the most from this product.
All right. So I thought just act like very nice, like no, it's okay, It's my pleasure that I was able to help you. That's all I do.
Okay. Yeah. That's what most people say. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Anything for you. We are here for you. And I'm very happy to get these answers because all of them are wrong.
Right.
Because
So like, paisa de abhi.
if they were right,
I said that in my mind, na.
So you can't be that direct. The best thing to do in such a situation is say, you can put it in any version of yours. You can use your own words. You can use it in your language. That's what partners do for each other.
Wow.
Or if you have a slightly better, deeper relationship with the client, you could say that's what friends do for each other. Okay, so this way you are not reducing the value of your favor. Plenty of people say, oh, it's nothing. It's no big deal. He might really think it's no big deal. He might say, "Arey, मेरे को लगा बहुत काम किया मेरे लिए, इसने तो शायद कुछ नहीं किया है." Maybe it is not really a big deal for him. You can't let him feel that. When you're saying this, you are communicating to him in a friendly way that yes, it is a favor. And when I expect a favor from you, you are going to be there because that's what we do. That's what friends do. Friends are supposed to do favors for each other. So this is the most scientific, the most profitable response. And plenty of people, they don't know this intuitively. Because since childhood, you're trained to say by your parents and by your teachers, "You're welcome, bolo," and say something of that sort. So unless a person is trained on this strategy, then he will not implement this strategy. And people feel very awkward in changing their habits but this is very critical. Otherwise, the entire work that you've done for the client has gone down the drain. Okay, now again, some people will be saying, oh yeah, even this is what's so great about this strategy. Even I have done favors for people and then they have done favors for me, and that's how relationships are built up. But again, plenty of people don't know how powerful it is. And if you don't have these precautions in place, you can keep on doing favors and nothing will happen. So one critical thing about favors is, and again, I want to put this in a form of a quiz, is let's say you are doing a favor for somebody. In your mind, as time goes by, does the value of the favor increase or decrease? So it's a quiz for everybody. If you can write it down in 5 seconds, but it will be great to keep it live. It will be great to get what it's your intuition. You haven't read this, so whatever your intuition is. So will the value of the favor increase as time goes by in your mind, or will it decrease? I need an answer from you.
People are writing, some are writing increase, some are writing decreased.
Yeah. So what's your what's your vote? आप मत किसे देंगे?
So the value of favor will fade down, right? It will decrease, however important that favor would be. But the guy will eventually forget.
In your eyes, the eyes of the favor giver, you're saying it will decrease.
In the eyes of the favor giver or taker, see,
no.
Now I've done something really great, I know. But if you have received that favor and if you don't think it's a big deal, then eventually it will lose its luster, right?
Yeah, but let's talk only about the giver.
I feel then the value of favor increases because I know I've done something for you and I know how difficult it was. So I feel it should increase.
Okay, so you have not read this anywhere. This is your intuitive answer.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely correct, but this is not normally the answer. Normally the answer is, with time people forget, and so this is the correct answer. In the mind of the person who's done the favor, the value of the favor increases because every human being likes to think that he's done great things.
Correct.
You couldn't have done something less because you're not that type of person. If you do something, you do something properly. Quiz number 2. What is the value of the favor in the eyes of the favor receiver as time passes by? Does it increase or decrease?
I'm sure it decreases day one. I don't know.
So you are the king of the immigration market in the world. So that's why you got it right. But most people get both these. They tend to mess up quite a lot. Okay, so you're absolutely correct. So the metaphor is that in the eyes of the person who's doing the favor behaves like wine. The value of wine grows as time passes by. And if the favor, the value of the favor in the eyes of the receiver is like bread. I mean, tomorrow's bread is gone, right? You keep a bread for 24 hours, you got to throw it away. Okay. So now you got to, as I said, banish skepticism. These are significant laws of the world. If you don't use these laws in your business and your competitor uses them, you're out of business. You got to make those assumptions. Now that you have these 2 laws in your life, in your business, it's a part of your business process. When you do a favor for somebody, what will you do immediately after that? Considering that you have these 2 pieces of information in your life.
So the question is, when you do favor to someone.
Yeah. Now you've done a favor to someone. We go back to the past example. Somebody didn't have a document, but you did some jugaad and
work around. Jugaad kharab lagta hai thoda.
Yeah, you expedited the process and you got it done. he is meeting you in your office. He's saying, boss, this is fantastic. Now that you have attended this webinar and you know these two things about bread and wine, what will your next step be? See, these are the magic moments, right?
Right.
Life is not linearly filled with opportunity. Sometimes for 1 year, you may not have an opportunity and suddenly you're in the lift with Mukesh Ambani. You're in the lift with Mukesh Ambani for 25 seconds. After that, he's gone. What 25 seconds may, if you don't say something to hook Mukesh Ambani, it's as good as not being in the lift with Mukesh Ambani. So you have to have your strategies ready and those magic moments have to be grabbed. So what are you going to say now? What are you going to do? The client is in front of you, you're having tea with him and he is extremely grateful.
God, I have never expected nice things to come from a client, or at least me asking for. But so maybe since you're asking this question, one thing is you can of course tell them to either give a reference or a thank you note, like something which can be posted on your site or something. Feedback, sorry.
Absolutely. Ask for a favor back ASAP. You don't delay. After a week, you try to get something, he's not available. Maybe he's available after a month, maybe he's available after a year. The value of that favor has gone down in his mind considerably. Close out this loop ASAP. If you don't, so you are working in your own business, but if you're an employee, your company's resources are being used, your boss is going to say, boss, ye kya hai? You've done a favor to a client, ye sab kar raha hai client ke liye, par dhanda kahan hai? I need a greater result considering the resources that you're using. So you have to be very, very efficient about this.
Right.
Now, some people have, in the 150 seminars I've done, some people say, no, but that's very mercenary, that's very money-minded. You are thinking about it. The client is not thinking about it. The client is very happy. The client wants to do a favor to you. He's dying to do a favor to you because that's just the way the human brain works. When we were cavemen, if you did a favor to somebody and he did not do a favor back to you, you would ignore him, you would remove him from a group, and if you were a caveman and you were alone, then you would die very fast. Like today, we can live alone with apps, we can have professionals. Even if a person doesn't have a single friend, he can live a life. But when you're a caveman and you don't have a strong connection with 5 or 6 people, and let's say you fracture your leg, within 24 hours, you're dead, right? Because either the cold will get you, or a tiger will get you, or your infection will spread and you'll die.
Or some other caveman will come and get you.
Yeah, exactly. So you needed, it was a matter of life and death. Even today, it is better to have a strong network of friends rather than not, but it's not that you're going to die. It's not that critical. So he's very eager to do a favor back to you because that's the way, since caveman days, our brains have been programmed. So he's very happy to do it at that time. Maybe a few people will think it's mercenary. That's perfectly fine. After all, you've done something for him first. So you're perfectly justified in doing this. And if you don't, and again, your competitor is cashing in favors regularly and you're not, there's no way you can compete with your competitor.
I agree.
And just one last about this before we take questions. What is a great favor? Every favor may not be a great favor, but what is a great favor? A great favor has 3 qualities. One is it is significant. Significant is not necessarily expensive. I want to make that point very, very clear. Plenty of people in this world, plenty of business people think that everything is a function of money. You got children, you want to be a good parent, spend money on them. Ye product nahi bik raha hai, spend money and start advertising. That's a very linear and loss-making way of thinking. So significant means it's important for the client. And what's important for the client may not be money or may not be expensive at all. So when I am doing mind map seminars for Fortune 500 companies, I sometimes get the list of attendees so I know who's attending. And I go on the Facebook walls and I see if they have children. If you can do something for somebody's child, that makes the child happy, okay? Not some bullshit stuff. Not some cheap Chinese toy which just breaks or something. But that child should really enjoy it, or the parent should feel that this is beneficial for my child. And this guy's thought about my child. You have a fan for life. Okay, that's the bond between a parent and his children is so strong emotionally that this is something that you should ethically use. So I give them very expensive books by Tony Buzan, who's the inventor of mind maps. There's some special 3 books that he's written for kids, mind maps for kids, which can be used by even very young children who are 5 years old, right up to 15 years old. It's that versatile. So I gift them that book. Now, in terms of costing, yeah, it's an expensive book, but then in context of the income that I make from a Fortune 500 company, it's next to nothing. So I would deem it as not an expensive gift, but the happiness in the person's eyes. The chief executive, and I'm telling him this is for your child, they get so happy. They're never going to forget that favor for the rest of their lives. So significant, need expensive. It just needs to have value in the eyes of the recipient. Second thing is unexpected. Okay, what does every Uber driver and Ola driver tell you at the end of the trip?
5-star dena, sir.
And I literally feel like what is the great thing you've done for me that I should give you a 5-star rating? Eh? You take me from point A to B, satisfactory, but plenty of them are now charging more than rickshaws. So this is a totally wrong thing to ask. Even if I wanted to give him a 5-star rating, now I feel like not giving him a 5-star rating. So if you're not doing something unexpected, then it's not a favor. He is moving me from place A to B, which is exactly what is expected of him. So logically, this is a completely wrong thing. It just shows that the sales trainers are training them in a very, very poor way. Because the client is happy. He's anyway going to give you a 5-star rating because the drivers are earning the money because of that. If you give them bad rating, they could lose their income. They're poor people. Yeah. So unless he's done something drastically wrong, anyway, as a concerned, sympathetic human being, I want to give him a 5-star anyway. He's ruining his chances of getting a 5-star by saying, sir, 5-star, right? This is like an order. So if it's not unexpected, it is not a favor. Don't think अरे इसको तो दिवाली greeting भेजा था. अरे दिवाली greeting सबको मिलता है. दिवाली मिठाई सबको मिलती है. So on the contrary, better if you don't send Diwali and send him some other gift at a time when he doesn't expect it. That's why he's going to remember.
Yeah.
So significant, unexpected, and the third is the most expensive. Personal. Extremely expensive because every human being has only 24 hours in a day. So a big media mogul had done some favors for me. Okay. Generally, we just connected on LinkedIn and he did a lot of favors for me. Probably he just liked my profile and maybe he thought we could work together, and we did a little bit of work together. He calls me at 10 o'clock at night once. Okay. He hardly calls me. We normally communicate on WhatsApp and all that. He calls me at 10 o'clock at night saying, I'd already gifted him some of my books, but then he says he wants 2 more copies. It's 10 o'clock at night. He says he wants 2 more copies. What do you think I should do? What would...
I mean, I would just give it.
Yes. But what precise action would you take?
So 10 o'clock at night, do you want, like, did he needed it at that hour or next day?
he just said he wants it. He didn't. He would be very. He would probably think that he is very demanding if he said, "I need it right now." Maybe he thought that. But let's assume that he just said, "I need these 2 books. Can you give it to me?"
So you can say, "I'll try to get them," or something like that. So you shouldn't be acting pricey, but at the same time, you should not chala leke ja.
Okay, so I decided to practice exactly what I preach, and I immediately took an Uber. He was staying at the Marriott Hotel in Juhu. I went there immediately, delivered it, WhatsApp to him that it's been delivered. I could have always sent it by courier the next day, but I said, this is it. He has done me a favor. Now I have reciprocated that favor. Now in the future, maybe he'll feel like doing something else for me. So it was personal and very, very expensive, right? I mean, just for 2 books here, 3 hours down the drain, coming home after 12 o'clock. But I think that was the right thing to do because I understand what's going on to some extent in his mind. So significant, unexpected, personal, as I said, is very difficult. This was an example. If a team member is calling the chief executive of his company for his marriage, and the chief executive goes in for a minute. He just goes for a minute, makes an eye contact with him, and comes back. That's it. He's going to remember for the rest of his life that chief executive of the company. Okay. So if the chief executive really values that employee and is justified making that expenditure in terms of his time, then yes, he should do it. So again, you have to weigh your pros and cons, but this is what a great favor looks like. Significant, unexpected, and personal. So there is a confusion about what a favor is. And some people have told me, I've done this and there was no response. And I've pointed out to them that that's not a favor. What you did was just expected. So if you just know the strategy, but you're not going to be careful in implementation, you could be giving an iPad to 1,000 people. They'll take the iPad and they'll never give you business. So you got to, it's connected to the free strategy, but it's a separate strategy by itself, and you have to be careful of the do's and don'ts. Otherwise, it's a double-edged sword.
Interesting.
So
we've already overshot our time. So what I'm going to do is we've already taken some questions. So I'm just quickly going through see if there is any one question that I feel we should really take. So somebody asked, for how many years have you been practicing the techniques that you are teaching right now?
I've been practicing it scientifically for 10 years and unscientifically for 50 years. If I knew all this at college, at MBA time, if that taught us this, I am not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. I would have been at least 100 times richer than I am. So many opportunities just wasted because I didn't have these weapons.
I'm sure. All right, guys. So before we end today's session, one quick request. I will request people who are not IBG members but are attending this webinar, kindly post in the chat box your name, mobile number, and email address, so we can reach out to you all with the next webinar details and stuff like that.
So
and,
can I just mention one statement?
Sorry?
Can I just give one message to all of them?
Sure.
Yeah, so you can read both my books. The second book is Invisible Selling, which is what this webinar is based on. All you have to do is go on Amazon and just search for Dharmendra Rai. That's it. So all my books will show up. That's a simple message. So I'm not giving any other details about myself because that book has all the details. It's got my website, my blog. You want to contact me, you'll be able to do it through that book. That's it.
Also, I would like to thank Girish and Siddhi for helping us with the webinar and everything, helping all the members. And Girish, I will request you to kindly post Dharmendra's details in the chat box, so everyone will be able to get his email address and his website address. He's got a fabulous website. You can see a lot of videos of Dharmendra. So yeah, there you go. Girish has already posted Dharmendra, so you are sorted.
Thank you.
So Priya, may I first invite you just to say a few words, and then we'll have Vikash over.
Hi, thanks a lot, Mr. Rai. This was quite an interactive session that we've had. I'm sure everyone over here thoroughly enjoyed it. And yes, all your details are on our chat box, and everyone will definitely contact you over here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks to you. Thanks to Dipesh, Vikash, Girish, and Siddhi, and the entire IBG team.
All right, Vikash, your closing remarks, please.
I'm still at the starting point. I didn't have enough of this. I was going on absorbing what you're saying, but I've had his experience before. I've done his radio interview. So to some extent, I knew what is coming. So this is not a vote of thanks. Thank you for being with us. Okay. And we hope to see you again on this platform. Thank you very much. Bye.
Great. Thank you all, and keep practicing.
Thank you so much, Dharmendra. You were really awesome. We had a great time, a lot of learnings. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next webinar. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.